You're welcome to another episode of the Talking in Circles podcast. So, yes, it's the day to say Happy International Women's Day. Every woman has had their own struggles in different societies. They are generally going through their own. There's the part of the shackles of society, and usually the limitations that society puts on women, or just because you're a woman. And on this episode of the podcast, we figured that we should shed more light when it comes to the financial woman, or the financial aspects of being a woman. This is the kickoff of the series. So it's a 4-part series. We have gathered women from all walks of life, and we believe that generally every woman is a product of a community. So this is something that we would like to emphasize going forward with the podcast and with the series, especially to experience and to express ourselves as a product of that community. So today's episode, I'm just going to shout Happy International Women's Day, and then I would introduce some of my guests. Happy International Women's Day, everyone. So today we have Nimor. So Nimor is I actually met her like a year or two ago, about a year ago. And she's very versatile. Like, when I mean versatile, she's a spoken word artist, a gospel spoken word artist to be more clear. And she's worked in media. I think I've listened to her speak during a panel. It was a general conversation like panel, and I think hearing her speak, I was just like, wow. So someone has this much knowledge and is able to put it together in one piece and make it so beautiful and everything. So without further ado, please, Nimor, say hi.
Hi.
Yes, thank you for thank you for joining us. And now to the next guest, Anita. What can I say about Anita? Anita is so many things rolled into one. I've known her for the better part of, dare I say 7 years. That makes me sound so old. But I think she's one person that I've seen evolve for different reasons, and for like from one position to another. And I don't know, like whenever I hear her story or like see her do things, I'm always wowed for so many reasons. And I think it's quite exciting for me, because knowing that I've known her for 7 years, I tend to ask myself if I could ever be that person. And it's not even just because of that, it's because she's someone that gives life, like she gives it all. Beyond all of this, she's a teacher. And it's not, there's the teacher of like, every day, yes, I go to school and I teach. But she's someone who's very passionate about teaching children and creating the right environment for the future of the world. Yes, I think that's the right word. So thank you very much, Anita, for joining us. Anita, are you there?
Hello, good evening. It's my pleasure.
Good evening. Yes, thank you for joining us as well. Now, I feel like I really feel like this is part where I really want to put like the drop balls, but it really hurts me that I can't do that here, and I have to be really serious and do all of the serious things here. But anyway, now this next lady is from Namibia. I've never met her in person, but she embodies so many things. She is a student right now, and she's a graphic designer. She she's so many things. I think she tried her hand at podcasting, but then at some point she just said that maybe it was not really the right fit for her, so she left it for those of us who wanted to do it or keep on the faith. So she's one of the women in my life right now that I feel in one way or the other inspire me. So thank you, Virtue, for joining us. It's been really, really nice knowing you as long as I've known you over the last year or two. And thank you. So
thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be on Talking in Circles.
Thank you. So going forward, today is International Women's Day. So I feel like one question I want to ask everyone is, what did you do to celebrate yourself today? I know what I did to celebrate myself, but I really would love to hear what you've done to celebrate yourself. I mean, another year of International Women's Day is no beans. Anita?
Yeah, hello for me.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm fine. You're avoiding the question. Go straight to the question, please. Thank you very much.
Okay. Today, I did what I am used to doing, teaching, and today was like a usual day. I did my normal routine of teaching students and just doing the thing I find fulfillment in doing. But the other thing I did just to find out if I'm still a woman was take photos to see what I look like after the whole...
You're not sure if you're still a woman.
You know. Exactly. When you have to give out, sometimes you don't remember yourself. Many of us women, especially independent women, we always give our best to work, to people, and all of those. We forget to give to ourselves. So I decided to take photos to see if I am still a woman, and it turned out that my picture still said I am a woman. That was it. So basically,
that sounds pretty exciting somehow. I don't know why it sounds exciting in my head, but it does. I think next time I feel like I'm not really sure if I'm a woman, I would try taking pictures. I hope they would actually do the same trick that they did with you. Okay, so Verta, tell me, how's your day? I mean, between the race of me telling you I wanted to do this, just tell me, what did you do?
So for me personally, I didn't know it was Women's Day until I started watching stories on Instagram and on WhatsApp. So I was like, wait, what? Is Women's Day not celebrated on another day? But then I really didn't do much. I mean, I decided to do my makeup today for fun, going to campus and stuff. And I really also just took the time to reflect and, think about all the women that are in my life and how much I appreciate them so much and the impact that they have on my life, and also just really appreciating myself because I hardly do that. So it's also looking at yourself in the mirror and just saying thank you. I appreciate you. You do a lot for me, and I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be alive. So I think also just taking the time to reflect and appreciating yourself is really important on this day.
It is actually, especially in the 21st century, where it just seems like there's a lot. It's not just in the 21st century, but over the last few years, it just seems like there's a lot of noise, and sometimes it's difficult. It becomes difficult to actually hear yourself and see yourself in the pool or the crowd or whatever. It's just so loud. So yes, I totally understand where that comes from. Okay, so for me, what did I do? I didn't really do anything particularly. I think I did the race of telling myself that, hello, I'm about to do something really crazy, because I had no idea yesterday I had no idea I was going to do this, but I was really excited. Maybe the idea dropped in my mind, and especially when I started hearing feedback as to, oh yes, people were going to do this, and I was like, oh yes, let's do it. So I think that was just majorly, that was my entire day. And as the day, just after my last meeting from work, I decided to get a plate of ice cream and pizza to just tell myself, yes, babe, you've been doing it, you keep doing it, and you're a queen. So yeah, that's just basically me. But beyond all of that, I understand money means different things for different people. For me, money has evolved. Like over the last 5 years, my intentions and my concerns about money have changed. So for me, about 3 years, 4 years ago, I think my concerns with money were like, oh, okay, I was in school then. So I was really focused on making sure that my pocket money stayed with me through the end of the month. And now I think I'm very focused about my salary tiding me through the month and probably like doing 1 or 2 dips into savings or investments. So I was really curious to know how do you feel about money, and this question goes to everyone, but like specifically, let's go to Nemo. I want to know, what do you think about money? And I know, yes, the Bible says money is the root of all evil, blah, 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 but like beyond, I wouldn't say beyond that, but aside from that, what do you think money means to you?
Okay. That's kind of like a very tricky question. But let me start by just correcting you a bit. The Bible says the love of money. So it's not money itself. That is the root of all evil.
Thank you. I totally skip that. Yeah.
Yeah. So then what money means to me? Well, money is, to me, money can be tangible, it can be intangible. So I have physical cash put in hand or in the bank, tied up in investments and all of that. Opportunities I see can be money to me. I can see an opportunity and see how much I can get from it, and I'm already planning with that money. That's how far money is to me. For me, basically, it's just what it is to everybody: a legal tender, the means of exchange. It's a means of gratifying my needs and desires. And then I see it in opportunities beyond just it being cash, in opportunities that surround me. Whatever I can monetize is money to me, basically.
I feel like you just gave me like a scholarly view of what money should mean, like a scholarly and philosophical view. Miss Anita, let me know, what do you think about money? I know money needs different needs, but I would like to know what if you were to say, okay, how you relate with money, how money impacts your life.
Let me start by saying that money is different things to different people, and the amount of money is what actually makes it worth it. How do I mean? The Bible says money answereth everything. It didn't say some things, it didn't say one thing. Of course, 10 naira is money. Of course, 1,000 naira is money. But the amount that will make it worth it is something really substantial, if you'll agree with me. So now I would say money is that thing, that tender, legal tender, like they use it, that thing that would give you what you basically need to get past in life. Without money, everyone would be nowhere. So money basically is whatever you would use to purchase what you need to get past in life. Either the amount will now determine how comfortable, how fulfilled, how influential you'll become. So money answers everything would now be better put, the amount of money you acquire, the how much it is would determine how comfortable and how fulfilled you are in life. So I don't know if I've come from another point of view other than the scholarly point for me.
I think you give me like a businesswoman view, which is why I said I feel like you've invested a lot. No, I'm serious. I'm being serious here. And like, I totally understand. I feel like everyone, I kind of agree with you, because I feel like money means different things to different people. I think I'm also curious to know what Bertia has in mind. Not just like now, I think now I would like to know as regards her relationship with money. I feel like you're going to tell me the same thing as to like, oh, what money is, but no, let's do relationship with money. I would like to hear your thoughts, Bertia.
So they say money doesn't buy happiness, but then I always say, give me all the money so I can test that theory out for myself. But like, on a serious note, I feel like money is a privilege. Like, having money is a privilege, because not everyone has a way of like getting money, or like not everyone has streams of income and whatnot. So like, really having something, one really needs to be grateful for that. I feel like I'm still learning every day what my relationship with money is like, because sometimes I feel like when I have money, I need to spoil myself instead of thinking about things that I truly need that will help. I was just saying, like, money is privilege, so I'm still learning every day, like, what money means to me, or what I would want to do with money. So it's like I'm still figuring it out.
That's a lot. That in itself is a whole lot, and I think that's an honest response, very honest, because like I said, I feel like money has evolved, like what I use money for, and the responsibilities have evolved. I think 2 or 3 years ago, I would never have considered, paying for like house bills or things like that. But that is my present day life. So I totally understand what you mean by, you're still trying to figure it out. I think generally everyone is. Of course, there might be exceptions of people like who are extreme billionaires and all of that. And even sometimes I feel like that, because if someone were to look at the Russia-Ukraine crisis now, and you weigh it in, stocks in companies from Russia or companies that are based in Russia, the stocks plummeted, like it just almost disappeared. And one would wonder, a country as powerful as Russia, for it to have lost so much influence within like a month, less than a month, and there's nothing, like, it just makes it quite clear that money and the idea of money is only, it can only be what you think it to be. So, but beyond all of that, I think for me, so this episode is titled Financial Woman a Poco a Poco. So it's Spanish for little by little. So one of the reasons I consider this title was because I feel like being a financial woman is a journey, and it's a step-by-step process. So I think one thing I'm also curious to hear about is what's the funniest mistake you've made with money? Anita, I feel like you're the best person. I feel like you're going to tell me, like, please.
For me, I really don't know why you're hitting on me like I'm some multimillionaire or something. Well, this is financial talk, so I would like to sound like a business person. There is no time where we won't make mistakes with money as long as we intend to multiply money. So it's actually bound to happen. It's inevitable. What's your question again?
Your funniest mistake with money, like what's that mistake you made with money?
Yeah, funniest.
You woke up the next morning and you're like, why did I even do that? Like, how is it even possible I made that mistake? I want to hear it.
Okay, all of these judgments are actually subjective. What I would call silliest mistake would be somebody's best trial at multiplying money, because of course when you make mistakes with money, it means you either spent foolishly or you invested with the highest risk at stake. So
you're giving me a safe answer. Don't give me a safe answer. Tell me the truth. I know you, and I know you well. So do not try this.
Oh, jeez. Oh, now you see what I was saying from the start. Whom is sounding like she's known every dealings I've had with money. Okay, let's be realistic here. Of course, we've heard of all of this investing forums, all those forex trading, and all of those. Well, there are Ponzi schemes that were forex, both the ones that are genuine and the ones that were not genuine. The reason why I would admit that it was my funniest mistake is because in Nigeria, we know how people could be. Even if you're buying something that is very, very expensive, it's likely to be the fake item, because Nigerians are who we are, We are never always straightforward. So I invested the whole of my savings.
Sorry,
I said, you see what I'm saying? I said Nigerians are who we are. I didn't specifically say all Nigerians.
In my ears, it felt like you were saying something bad about the country.
Well, Nigerians are who we are. We know who we are. We are not always straightforward. I didn't say we are always not straightforward. We're not always straightforward. Madam, try to decipher the difference. Okay. Investing in Forex has been, as long as I have heard of it, 2006, 2007. So for the very umpteenth time, I decided to try at it. Okay, everybody has been doing it. They've been getting gains. So I had saved up all I had for the year. That was 2021. And then I decided to invest, and I was promised heaven and earth. I would get some 30% discount promo and all of those things. Well, it was heart-rending. However, I just realized that some of these things are not for some of us. So investing all of your savings, to me, is not the best, especially in something you cannot basically or you cannot vouch for 100%. I learned from that moment that you diversify when you invest. When you're not sure of what the investment market is like, you do not put everything you have into it. You would rather try other means and then see which one works for you. So having to invest all my savings for the year in a particular forex trading company was the worst mistake I had with money. So for me, I believe you know me well enough to ascertain whether that is true or incorrect.
I agree. I know the story.
Okay.
One story. So yes, okay. So being that Nimor is Nimor, let's not do this mistakes she's made. Let's talk about the lessons she's learned
I don't understand Imobi anymore.
You are a boss. I know you. I know you. Let's see.
You'll be shocked. Mistakes I've made not once, not twice, multiple times. The lessons I've learned. I think I learned this one very recently. And I'm so sorry if I don't know the people that are on this call, so I don't know their affiliation to faith. But I'm a person of faith, and everything I do has God at its core. So recently I've learned that I can try you, but except the Lord. See, I got into a situation that I became so broke. You know, anyone that knows me knows that I earn a salary. I have free accommodation. I don't pay for my food. So it doesn't make sense when I open my mouth to say I'm broke. Nobody believes me. Like, what are you doing with your money? And I got into a tight corner that I was looking for who to borrow me. I was borrowing money left, right, and center. There was this project I wanted to do. It just came at a time where I had nothing. And truthfully, the people I put my trust in, nothing came out from there. And I just threw my hands in the air, like, what will be. And I learned to depend on God for sustenance. And it was when I received peace over everything that I needed money for. That was when money came. So that's the number one lesson I've learned. I'll do my best as a person, but at the end of the day, God has the final say, and He's still in charge of finances. But then, being practical about lessons learned, I've learned that I should never go into any business that I have not done my research on. And not just surface value research, like in-depth research. Talk to people that have done it before. People that don't go and ask your friend that is into the business that if you go through her, she gains something, because she will tell you, this business is good. You know all this bring to. At the end of the day, she would tell you what you need to hear so she can get some benefit. Talk to people that are totally random, that have engaged in any form of business or any form of investment that you're planning to go into. I think I learned that one the hard way. I also learned not to be so trusting, like Anita said, to diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. I made the mistake of doing that during the lockdown, because I was at home and my salary piled up, and I felt, wow, if I put all of this in this investment, by the time I'm getting the ROI, I'm a rich girl, and I lost everything, every single thing. So don't put all your savings, your investments, don't make all in one place. And finally, I've learned to prioritize and to pay attention to my expenses. There's a tendency to spend lavishly when you think you have it. Not paying attention. It's 2K now, Abba. My account is balling. You just get things like that. It might seem little, but that's the fastest way to lose money. I've learned to pay attention to my expenses. If it's not a need, if it's a want, I split my money into, I have a section that is for gifts. That's, somebody gave birth, I need to get them something. Okay, I know that I'm not exceeding a particular amount in a month. Transportation, personal needs, savings/investment. So whatever I'm doing, it's in my head. Now I want to splurge. I want to take care of myself. I want to, forget home training and just, spend. It must not exceed the budget that I have put for myself for that month concerning just having fun. So that has helped me a lot. Pay attention to my expenses. So I guess, that's it basically for me.
That is. Nemo, are you considering writing a book on money mistakes or lessons?
Oh my good self.
Oh god, I can totally imagine. I feel like so many of the lessons you've learned are things that I can totally relate to. For instance, I think when I was still in uni, so what I used to do then was I would write my budget before I get my allowance. I would write my budget down to my transportation, my tithes, my offering, everything. I would keep it together because at that time I think, so I was very, very, very judicious about it. So, but the irony was now when I started earning a salary, and I would just completely forget. Like I would, after paying my tithe and offering, I'll just feel like, oh yes, there's much more money than we had planned. Let's splurge. And before the the first few months, I was really skeptical. I think I was very aware of how I was spending money. But I think the second or third month of earning a salary, I just felt, what is all this? Why can't I just enjoy my baby girl life? Like, hello, how many is me? It's not just me that is here. What kind of life am I living? And I felt the need to splurge. And people of God, it was not a nice experience for me. Let's just say that if I had saved during that period, by now I should at least be able to buy a land. Well, we are where we are, and we keep moving. So, but hearing all of that, I think I'm curious to know what Virtuous has, or what she's gone through. I feel like you're in a different country. We've given Nigerian aspect, and Anita has said, that Nigerians, we are who we are. But let's hear what's the Namibian story.
Well, I feel like you guys have had really had experience with money, and I feel like I haven't experienced that much yet. But I have made a few mistakes. Like there was this one time I was really obsessed with this online game. And when you're playing these online games, in order to get the best features and whatnot, you have to pay a certain amount of money. So I would put my credit card details into these games, and later on I realized that all the massive bank charges I had were because of these games that I was playing online. So I think also spending money online can also be a risk, because you can't trust all these these funny websites, and not all games can be trusted as well. So I really had to learn, because I also had to inquire at the bank, and find out why are the bank charges so high, and they're like, no, it's because of all these online purchases that you've been doing or whatever. So I really had to learn from that. So I really don't play games that much anymore, because the way I would just put in my credit card details with no hesitations or whatever was really crazy to me. So I just also learned how is this game benefiting me? Why must I spend all my money on a stupid game or whatever? So that is one of my biggest mistakes. I also tried the whole Forex thing. I invested money, but then I never got to withdraw it or whatever, so it was a scam as well. So and also other mistakes, when your friends ask you to go out for drinks or go out to dinner or whatever, and you don't want to feel left out, so the money that you saved or the money that you prioritized for something else, I would normally take that money and use it just to impress my friends or whatever. So I also learned from that. It's okay to say no, my finances are not, my finances are not allowing me to go have fun with you guys right now. My money is prioritized for something else. So I'll join you guys whenever I can, but go have fun without me, it's fine. So really what Nima said about prioritizing money, that's very important. So yeah, that's like my experience or whatever, or my intake.
Basically, you're telling me that you actually learned how to say no. I really need to learn that. I have a problem saying no, a very serious problem.
That is the hardest thing ever, saying no.
It's really hard. And especially when, especially for those of us who, quote and unquote, earn a salary. Not everyone gets to ask you, okay, how much are you earning? How much are you saving? How much are you investing? They just feel like, oh, okay, you earn something, so you should be able to ball 1 or 2 times in a month.
Yeah.
And it's always very funny when you go to a restaurant or you go to a park or wherever you're going to hang out with your friends, and someone just expects that you should pay. People, I was sitting there in my house and then you said, let's hang out. And then I stood up and I came to meet you. And then you just expect that I will pay. Why? I don't know. But I'm just saying.
Ask like a contribution fee, and you're like, wait, you didn't tell me this in advance. The fact that you're asking me out, it's me. Like, I'm assuming that you got me covered or whatever. So it's really
exactly
crazy.
Like, for real, you had it in your mind that we should hang out. I feel like it is fair. Like, of course, there are times when we could level it up and be like, oh, okay, we're going Dutch or something. But for you to have thought of it, I feel like you should be able to afford it. I mean, like, for real, you should be able to afford it. But that's just me being funny and all of that. I totally understand where that comes from. I think my first year of earning, especially because I started earning a salary just COVID, during COVID. I think the first year of COVID. And I think the year before I'd been freelancing, but I didn't have like a steady source of income. So it was like, oh, okay, stream different like jobs. Once a project closes, I'll get funds or like payment for the project and things like that. So it was a bit erratic. Oh yeah, this month I could experience like a really bad shortfall. Sometimes it could be really big. Oh yes, I feel like I'm floating. So I think one thing when I started earning a salary, my second eldest brother told me that I should keep 50%. No, I'm not joking. It wasn't 50%, it was 60% of whatever I earn in savings. And now this brings us to like financial abuse and like the context of it. So it wasn't like he was going to keep the money. And I'm not saying that, he came from a bad place. But the idea of like financial abuse is that people tell you how to spend your money. Like, you're the one who goes to the work. You're the one who signed the contract. You're the one who gets paid. But a friend or a family member or whoever, a boyfriend, husband, depending on the context, will tell you, okay, now that you've gotten the money, you should save this, or you should use this money and things like that. For me personally, I feel like my brother came from a good place, or I like to think he came from a good place. But 60% of my salary, I wasn't earning like in millions. So 60% of my salary meant like I would be eating like a pauper while I was earning a salary. And that's not bad because it was COVID time. We're still in COVID time, mind you, but it was early on COVID time where we didn't really have vaccines going around. So I didn't have anywhere to go to. So I could very much have saved that money. But I didn't. Let me be honest. I didn't. And I think at the end of the year, I was thinking about it and I calculated the amount and I was just like, that would have been enough for me to rent an apartment or at least pay for rent the following year. And I was just like, wow, if I'd actually gone hungry, it would have actually worked. But now, going back to everyone, I feel like I'm really curious to know how we deal with advice from other people regarding money. So I know Nemo said earlier that, if you're going for an investment or like one of those like schemes or whatever, you should speak with someone who is random or someone who has had more dealings with money, as opposed to people who are like really close friends and probably have something to gain from you participating in a scheme. So, but I think, Anita, I would like to hear your thoughts. Like, how do you feel about your boyfriend or your parents or anyone in your family telling you how to spend or save your money?
For me.
Yeah, ma.
For me. Yeah, I would like to think that you are trying to get at me directly or indirectly, because you're very well aware of what my background is like. That's why you're posing a question to me. Well, let me answer you from what?
My lips are...
What did you say?
My lips are sealed. I have no idea what you're talking about. Please.
Okay, I'm going to be answering this question from an omniscient point of view. Like, I'm going to stay aloof and answer the question.
Please. Answer it from your own personal point of view.
No.
I want to hear the personal point of view. Thank you. You are not all knowing.
Yeah, you see, there's a problem that comes. You said we're not.
You're not all knowing.
There's a problem that comes with. Okay, there's a problem that comes with some kind of people, and you said it earlier that you're that kind of person who doesn't know how to say no. I don't know if you're worse than I am, but we actually fall in the same category of not being able to say no. I remember something you always told me from a long time ago, and that was love yourself first. Love yourself before you love other people. Some of us are in the habit of loving other people before us. We just feel, I have this money, and I personally, I usually thought that if the money is just sitting in your account and then you're not really using it and somebody else is in need of it, why not give it to the person? So family most times always come first, whether family, whether close friends, whether people who are in your skin, But over time, I realized that putting yourself first is making you improve, not putting yourself first by buying yourself all the junks and all the sweet mouths there are, but putting yourself first by investing in yourself, developing your skills, building your career. Because if you build on yourself and you ignore those people for the now, when you get better, when you have built on yourself, it will be easier to influence their lives. Not when you've barely gotten a ground to stand on. You're yet to stand and you're still trying to struggle. You just feel, okay, there's just a little extra, then you give it out. When you keep doing this, you're pulling yourself so many years backwards. So I've realized that what is best is to ignore them, people around you. That's what many people do. That's why many people who you see have mansions, who have businesses, chains of businesses, you go to them, you look at what they are worth, and then in the end they still can't afford to give you what you expected of them. You go to a man who has 10 estates, and then when you're leaving, you ask for his help. He tells you he has invested everything he has, and then he gives you a meager 5,000 naira. You're wondering why. If people at that height could do that, I don't see why people with us, people like us rather, with a big heart like we think, should do otherwise. So over time, I've learned that it's best for you to invest in yourself. It's very important. Invest in yourself. If you're a business person, try to expand your business. If you're a career person, try to acquire more degrees or certifications, professional certification, to make you a better person. If you're an entrepreneur, you try to get more knowledge, skills to boost your business, your career, whatever you're into. That's the best way to make your finance expand. Otherwise, you help people, or you don't say no to your cravings, you don't say no to people who you feel you should help, people who you think you're responsible for, then all of you will just be dragged in the mud. And of course, we see what the economy is turning out to be, and I bet you in 10 years time, if you have not invested in yourself, you'll be worse than a church rat, because the economy is not going to improve, because by statistics, Nigerian currency is going to continue to devaluate. You understand? So it's better you build on yourself, improve on yourself, so as to get better and be able to, in fact, create jobs for other people, which will boost your economy and that of your immediate environment. So that's what I have to say.
Okay, so wait, let me understand what you're saying. Basically, you're advocating. I'm the biggest preacher of like loving yourself. I'm being very intentional about yourself. We've had series of conversations about this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But are you now saying that in the midst of like focusing on yourself, you turn like a blind eye towards the concerns or like the fears or like especially financial concerns of members of your family?
Okay, let me recap that. There was a time when I used to, I'm the first child, so there was a time I used to put my siblings first, pay their bills and everything. And guess what? I wouldn't be able to get myself even a bottle of Coke, because I just feel when I take Coke, I've reduced the amount I'm supposed to give to either of them. You understand? So I put them first. But there was a time I stumbled upon their account balances, and I found out that they even had more than I do. Do you understand? No, I'm telling you what I've experienced. Okay, just last week, I have this family friend that I go to say hello to. Whenever I get to their house, I find out that they don't really have food in the house. So I'm always like, I'm always moved to be like, oh God, when next I'm coming, I'm going to do some shoppings, buy food, buy groceries. Now, the wife of the house gave me her phone, and then I was hoping to buy groceries, like buy food and everything. And I saw how much she had withdrawn in the week. I saw how much was left in her account balance. She was trying to fix something with her account. So once I saw the account balance, it was almost toppling mine by only God knows how much. And I was like, geez, I intended to go the extra mile from the little I had left. Like you said, there are so many projects that are swallowed money. So from the little I had left, and alas, these people have what you think. So these people try to cut down on what they spend on. They reduce how much they spend money. But you who think you're helping them, they have their savings. They just don't let you in on it. So you have to discipline yourself. Like what Nima said, I totally agree with her. You should cut down your spendings by allocating some certain amount to things. Okay, 60% for myself, my savings, or 70% for my savings, and then maybe 20% for any miscellaneous expenses. You shouldn't eat into your savings for anybody. Do you understand? So I'm not saying you turn a blind eye. If you're capable of turning a blind eye, perfect. Really, I've been looking for who will teach me on how to turn a blind eye because I don't know how. So
I think my second eldest brother will be the best person. Like I think he's called me, and I say this to Anita specifically because, like I said, we've known each other. I think I've known you longest, more than everyone on the call, and like she said, I've reached that point. I used to be that person who didn't know how to say no, but I feel like over the last 2 years, I've gotten better at it. I might not always say no when I'm supposed to say no, but I've learned to say no at least once or twice. And most of the time when I say no, it always shocks people because they're not used to hearing me say
you, of course.
Yeah, but I think over time it's come from like my situation, my second eldest brother, because he's the kind of person who's really aggressive about saving, investing. Like if they were supposed to use like a rating for investments and things like that, he's that person who would just like do like the craziest things for investments. So, and his money relationship has kind of
let me
You were saying?
I would like to chip in something, and
Okay.
I'd like to chip in something, and that thing is, okay, when you notice you have a big heart, get committed to saving somewhere you can't withdraw from. I don't know if you understand. Someone like me, I don't know how to. I've tried learning how to say no. It doesn't work for me. Somehow, if somebody comes and they say there's an emergency, I will empty my account. So what I have resolved to doing is I find some specific places where I know I can get out my money from, like say with a third party or pay for a course. You can't get a refund. You're paying for something. If you decide to keep your money in your account and you have this kind of big heart, my dear, it will still turn out to be the same thing. You kind of sit yourself down and say someone is in need, and then you're trying to ignore the person. That's not what Christ will do. Someone like me, that's what I always do. Christ won't do this. If he had the money, he'll give it out. But we just don't have that nature. No matter how we teach ourselves to say no, there comes a time where you sit yourself down and you say, no, this is not fair. You're being unfair. This person doesn't have. That's why they ask. So the best way for people who have the weakness of saying no is investing or saving with a third party where you don't have access to your money. So if there's an emergency, you just know you can't run out, you can't run to get that money. You just look for alternative means. So of course, you don't have it. When you check your account balance and you're having just maybe 50,000 naira, for instance, you probably will give 30,000. But if you had it up to like 250, it would be nothing to give out 150, and that would make you lose a whole lot. So saving with a third party or investing with a third party is actually very reasonable for people who don't know how to say no, and that's what I have actually started with recently, and it's been working for me. So
okay, that's really I look for the future of this thing for you. I'm really rooting for you.
Okay.
I think it's sad that you've had to deal with people who might not always be honest about their finances. It's always is I believe that there are more people who are more open and honest and in actual need of funds, but sometimes it gets really confusing when you meet people who are not in like really honest. So but moving on to Nimor. I mean, Nimor is, I understand she's yes, you are doing business. I've seen some of your posts, so I know. So how do you handle the discipline, like putting your money where your mouth is? How do you do it?
Okay. So concerning putting my money where my mouth is, or handling discipline with regards to money gotten from business, I'm still a work in progress, I must confess. Because the last business I did, I have chopped the money. Still a work in progress, and just it had worked for me when I was consistent. Remember, I said I got into a situation that was so dire, so I had to just dip into wherever cash was. So that's what took that the business funds. But before then, I did what Anita just talked about: put the money in a place that is not accessible. So I have an account that I don't have a card for, that I don't have an app for, that will require me going to the bank physically before I can make withdrawals. And then the bank is so scarce, it's not in my area, not where I work, not where I live. So the thought of having to go into town to scout for the bank, that kind of arrangement helped me to stay clear of the business money. Then for the times where I had to dip in, I would always remind myself, if you are dipping in on the profit. No matter what happens, do not touch the capital. Don't touch the capital, no matter what happens. I know I did this time around, but on a normal day, if the situation was not so dire, I tried my best never to touch the capital if I had to. But I didn't have to so much because the money was not so available to me. So yeah, that's it.
I feel like I would change the title of this topic, of this episode, to confessions about money. That's a whole lot. I think those of us who do businesses, it's always interesting to find that balance and being able to put things in perspective. For me, most times I use fintech apps because I just lock the funds and I'm just till the next time, people, till the next time. So, but Verity, I'm also very concerned that you were supposed to have left short, you had another appointment. So, but I just wanted to hear your final thoughts. How do you do it? Because of course you do for graphic design, so it's totally different. One could say, oh, okay, you might not necessarily need the money for the resources and things like that, but then you need it for resources because softwares and all of those things don't come cheap, except if you're going for cheap or for free resources. But context, I just want to know your final thoughts so you can run away without me bugging you. So just want to know your final thoughts on funds, administering your finances and things like that. How do you do it? I mean, graphic design is not cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear what everyone is saying. I personally feel like I really have a different experience from all of you here. And being a graphic designer is basically just it's being a freelancer, right? So you don't have a consistent number of clients that you get in a week or a month or whatever. It's different every day. Sometimes it's one client a week or one client in a month or 5 clients in a week. It really depends. So it's I feel like personally I don't really get to save, or I haven't really learned how to save yet, because as the money comes in, it's I spend the money on the things that I need in that moment of time. Let's say if I get money from making this one logo for this one client, I can use that money to buy let's say I am in need of paying for my Skillshare account, or paying for transport for school or whatever. So it's it is, as soon as you get the money, you spend it immediately. So I don't really save money like that, because money comes at different times in the month. but like I'm still working on it and just like compiling up budgets and whatnot, and also trying to find other streams of income. And when it comes to the aspect of like families or friends asking for money, I don't really experience that, because it's like they know that I am starting out in graphic designing or whatever, and they know that I don't make that much. So it's like they just ask me like, how can we support you to like make your graphic business grow, and so that you can make more money in return. So I really appreciate that, because it's not easy, but yeah, they are very supportive. Still learning how to save, and I don't really spend much on the softwares or the designing platforms, because I like learned how to master the free ones, because it's really, I wouldn't say there is a difference between paying for a software and not paying for one. But if I reach that success, like to say I am earning this much, I can afford to pay for a software that will help me create better or quality designs, then I would definitely do it. But yeah, that is my take. Those are my final thoughts. Yeah.
I think for me, that's all that you said is actually quite valid. I am the last child in my family, and I think every time I think of money and my relationship with money, I'm always very grateful that I didn't have that responsibility to carry everyone on my shoulders, because I feel like it would have been a really heavy burden. And not because I think one of the reasons why it would have been a really heavy burden for me is because I am actually very pro family. So if I'd had to choose between myself and my family, there's every possibility that I would have actually chosen my family, so far it would help my members of my family as opposed to myself. But being in that position where I'm expected to receive, I don't always ask to receive, but context, like I'm not in that position where I have to give. I could give, yes, there have been times, and as God continues to give grace, yes, we're looking forward to times where we can even give more. But having that knowing that isn't a concern for me is always a blessing for me. But beyond that, I think one thing I actually did, and I still run into like freelancing once in a while, whenever I can afford the time and things like that. So, but one thing I did during my freelancing journey, I don't know if it might be really helpful to you as well, is I used to like budget, like, so I made this like mental decision that whatever I was earning from whatever gig I was doing, I would save like 10 or to 20%. So even if I'm like, okay, Nigerian naira now, so like 5,000 is about $12 or thereabout. So, or is it? No, I can't remember the exact figures. But
I'm not really sure.
Yeah. So, but what I would just normally do is like, I'll just make, like, it doesn't matter how much is coming in, I would just make up my mind to put this particular amount in savings or investing, or depending on how I feel risk insured, I would try to do what I can with money that isn't just like spending. So, but depending, I feel like for you might just need to do like a bit of research and find what you're comfortable with. So, but ladies and ladies, yes, it's been a really, really lovely conversation. I really feel like I'm going to title this Confessions About Money, being that I'm the priest and you are all the confessors. But so, but being serious now, there's a whole lot that we have unpacked this evening. I think personally, I've while I've been listening to every one of you, I've just been writing down one or two things on my paper and just be like, okay, for me, this is the next thing you should try. You try this. I've really asked Nemo to write a book about lessons and mistakes in money. I'm looking forward to seeing the book.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. Like, really learn a lot from you guys.
You know, for reals. It will definitely be a blessing to 1,001 people, like me especially.
Oh, wow.
Another 1,000 people. I think one. Let's do like final all round. What tell me one thing you would tell your younger self about money. Like younger self being like 10 years, care about 5 years, as far as you're willing to go. One thing you tell your younger self about money. Let's start with Nemo. Nemo, please tell me.
Okay, number one, I'll tell my younger self not to be greedy. Not to be greedy, really, because at the root of every terrible money decision I've made, there's an underlying measure of greed. You know, you hear about an opportunity, an investment with a ridiculous ROI. You don't calculate, are they offering a service that can yield this much profit for them to pay this interest on your investment after such a short period of time? And all, common sense just goes away when you see a very good deal. It looks like you're getting a good deal, but at the end of it, if you dig deeply, there's a measure of greed playing a huge part in that decision making. So if I could talk to my younger self, I'll say, don't be greedy, don't be in a hurry. I'd not been earning for a long time, so when I started earning, I just wanted to do it right, multiply my income, be able to take care of everybody. I wanted to meet all the needs of my family at the same time. Just a lot of things. But I'll tell my younger self to take it easy. Breathe. Baby steps. Slowly but surely. All the rich guys in the world, they all have that story about starting out small and taking it one day at a time. So one is to just rush in, Imagine starving yourself to gather money and then losing all of it. So just calm down, take it one day at a time. Don't be greedy. And just always do your research. Always.
What's to live by?
Don't take anything at face value. Just always do your research. So that will be it for me.
What's to live by? Anita. Oh no, wait, before we get to Anita, Virtua, please, what would you tell, say, 5 years or 10 years? What would you have told yourself, like 5-10 years ago? Are you still there? Okay, Anita, let's just go with you. What would you tell your younger self? Anita?
Hello.
Hi again.
Okay. My younger self, well, if you can hear me now and there's the opportunity to have you come back, I'll just advise you, like an older version, to save more, and even save more. Then you can invest a little, not so much, except like Nemo said, you have very genuine source of what you're investing in. Of course, investments can be in a whole lot of ventures, and one very vital venture I would like to tell that my old self and every other person that will be listening to this is that landed properties is one very, very wise investment anybody can think of. Unlike every other one that is a give or take thing, I would tell myself to save up, and then when the money is enough, you can invest in landed properties, for instance. Yeah, that's one of the things you can trust. Our fathers and mothers who are very rich now, who have houses over their heads, weren't wealthy when they bought their land. So if you cultivate the habit of saving, okay, before I buy anything, save. You actually ought to save before you touch what you get, and when you save, then the leftover is what you should spend. You don't spend and save up from the leftovers. Actually, when I don't put other people in the picture, I actually save before I spend. So when you save and then your money has gotten to a very reasonable extent, the best in form of investment I'll advise anybody is to invest in landed properties. They actually accrue over time, and even as the economy is dwindling, lands and any other thing that is associated with land will continue to accrue a whole lot of interest. It begins to appreciate. So I'll tell my younger self 10 years ago to save and buy land. That's it.
Yeah. Virtual, are you still here? I think
Here.
Oh, okay. Younger self, what would you tell your younger self?
I would definitely tell my younger self, like, learn to put yourself in your parents' shoes, because they are also like going through things. They have to pay for bills and attend to other things as well. So when you're younger, you're like depending on your parents for everything. Like, you need money for A, B, C, D. They're like, no, I can't provide it. I can't give you the money right now, but I can give it to you by the end of the week. And then you just give an attitude about it, or like get upset, but you don't really understand what they're going through. What they might have even like borrowed the money from someone else or whatever. So it's like learn to understand your parents, where they're coming from, and also just I would also tell my younger self, like, to stop obsessing over the idea of like gaining independence so fast, and just like taking it step by step. Because when you want to gain independence, it's like you try out so many things at the same time, whether it's starting that small business, whether it's handing your CV in at a lot of places, a lot of companies, whatever, and just having so many ideas and doing them all at once. So I just told myself, take it step by step. You will eventually get there. Don't rush yourself. Don't put pressure on yourself. You'll eventually get there. So yeah, that's what I would tell my younger self.
Wow, that is a whole lot. I feel like I've penciled down letters for my younger self as well, because you guys have said a lot. You've said a whole lot. I quite agree with Miss Anita on the landed properties. Yes, landed properties. I have an uncle who got land and like built on it for I think it was back in the 90s or so, 90s or 80s. He got land for about 30,000. Now he rents part of the house for about 7 to 10 million naira, and that's part of the house. That's not the entire land. So yes, landed properties, as much as possible, if you go for like the right areas or choice areas, so to speak, and go for like developing areas and things like that, yes, they do appreciate over time. And like Nemo said, I feel like one thing I could definitely tell my younger self is take it a step at a time. Baby steps, people. Baby steps. And I very much agree with Veriture as well, because if I know what I know now, I wouldn't have been fighting to be an adult. I would not have tried to think. Like, there's nothing. My mom was trying to drive me out of the house, I would have told her that she cannot drive me. Please, I'm somebody's child. So she should keep me in the house. But I definitely would not have tried to be an adult so fast. I would have enjoyed my childhood. I started working like when I was like 15, 16. So if I knew what I know now, I would definitely have just calmed down a little bit and tried to just take it day at a time and try not to hurry to get rich or get comfortable or any of those things. So, but it's like I said earlier, it's been a really lovely episode. I feel like there's so much I've learned that I didn't even think of before now, and I can't thank every one of you enough for being part of this episode. To close off, I want everyone together to join me and shout Happy International Women's Day. So can we do this together? Thank you. Hello. I'm serious.
Yeah, here.
Use your full voice. I mean it. Full range of voice. Please. We're going to shout it so that everyone will hear us. I mean, this is International Women's Day, and if we don't get to be happy today, then what have we been doing?
You know?
Yeah, exactly. So, yes, let's round this episode with a big shout. Are we ready? When I say three, let's do this. So 1, 2, 3. Happy International Women's Day! Yes. People did not shout it well.
Come on.
Let's do this again. We're going to keep doing this until we get it right. I'm serious. I don't mind editing it out, but we're going to keep doing it until we get it right. When I say ready, let's do it. Ready, set, go. Because we're all running now. So, but point being, ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. Happy International Women's Day! Some people did not shout.
People are wondering what's going on with this person now.
Happy International Women's Day, everyone. It's been really, really lovely having everyone on the episode. And enjoy the rest of your evening. And I'll share the link shortly. Yes, thank you. Thank you.